Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
What's going on, nerds? It's AJ from the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast, and a series we're going to be doing, whether it's going to be me or somebody else from the show, we're going to be doing some tier stuff. I know it's new, but you know, we want more content out there, and well, let's start with something I know a lot about, and that is the Walt Disney World Resort. And we're going to be starting with their rides, and this is the whole complex. You know, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. So let's get right into it, and let's see basically where it's going to take us. So first off, it looks like we got alien swirling saucers. You know, I like the ride. It's nice for the kids and everything. I'd probably have to put it D tier though. You know, it's the aliens from Toy Story. It's in Toy Story Land. Maybe C, because I love the soundtracks. I love the techno soundtracks of it. So next on the list, we go all the way to Tomorrowland, and that's Astro Orbiters. Yeah, it's a hub and spoke ride. There's 3 Dumbo rides in Magic Kingdom, but only 1 Dumbo ride in Magic Kingdom. And while you do get a nice view from Astro Orbiters, I think you could skip it. Going all the way to Pete's Silly Sideshow, we're going to go to the Barnstormer, Goofy's Barnstormer, the Great Goofini. I'm going to put that all the way in B tier. A lot of people, this is their first roller coaster they get on, and it escalates completely to a love or hate relationship with roller coasters. For me, I loved it. Next, we're going to Adventureland for the Flying Carpets of Aladdin. Bet you guys could have saw that one coming. Yep, another hub and spoke ride. Right there. Don't have a lot to say about it, outside of the camel spits at you. If you get it right, it might spit you right in the face. Let's go Carousel of Progress into Tomorrowland. Now that song's gonna be stuck in my head for a while. Ooh, that's a really good one. I'm gonna put that up in B tier. Not just because it's a great soundtrack, it's about a half hour of relaxation time in the AC. It's got a heck of a story taking you through, you know, the turn of the century up into today. So go check it out. It's a good way to kill some time in the AC, especially in Florida where it's very hot. Country Bears Jamboree. I'll give it a D. It's okay to see once. It's got some very risque humor that you'd be surprised to have in a park and everybody can go on. It's not really a ride, it's a show. Let's go to Dinosaur. Dinosaur is a very jerky ride. I find it fun, but if you're not okay with getting jerked around, it's the same ride vehicle they use for Indiana Jones out in California. I will put this probably C tier. Now, while we have a couple under our belt already, hit that like button, subscribe to the Nerds Do Nerd Things podcast. Let's hear your list, where your list is going to sit. Also, a huge shout out to Justin Hayes for the opening and the cover art, the thumbnail for today's, and I think probably our next episode as well. So huge shout out to him. Go check him at eNerdtainment. But let's continue with Dumbo, the original hub and spoke ride. B, because that should be the only hub and spoke ride in the park. I said it. I did say it. And I do like how they did it, where they basically give you a beeper, like how they do at restaurants, and here, go take a seat. We'll call you. There's like a play escape for kids. It's fun. It gets it gets you through the line without having to be in the line. Let's go to Expedition Everest. Send that all the way up to A tier. Such a fun ride. I still wish Disco Yeti worked. That's been broken since about the first week or two of the ride being out. Basically, they'd have to take apart half the mountain to get to the Yeti to fix him. Maybe someday, but it's a lot of fun. You go forwards, you go backwards. There's a heck of a drop that everybody sees the front of the attraction. But give it a shot. It's an Animal Kingdom. Go to Journey into Your Imagination. You know, this was so much better back in the day. So much better. Fortunately, they ruined it a couple times. This one's slightly better than it was, but I missed the Dreamfinder. I missed the Dreamfinder a lot. You know, the kids will still like it. There's a good portion of the ride where you'll find a lot of people who've been on it before to do this, but, you know, it's okay. It's okay. Let's go to Epcot's Norway Pavilion for Frozen Ever After. I'm putting that in the B tier. I like Frozen. Leave me alone. It's basically a Frozen flume ride, basically, where you go forwards and backwards. It's drawn a blank here. The Viking ride used to be at I don't know. Let me know in the comment section what it was called, because I'm completely drawing a blank right now. So with that, let's go and look at another Epcot staple in the Mexico Pavilion. It is the Grand Fiesta Tour. Putting that in the C tier. It's a very relaxing trip through Mexican culture and all that stuff with the Three Caballeros. When the animatronics are working at the end of it, it's a lot better. But when we were last down there, Donald wasn't there. Donald wasn't there at all, and I think he came back like a week or so after we left. Alright. It's the first one to go to our S tier, and it is Welcome, Foolish Mortals, to the Haunted Mansion. Yeah, it's... The soundtrack is amazing. The ride is fun. Little spooky at times. Because I'm a giant scaredy cat. I could sit in this ride. Maybe not if it breaks down, but if they allowed you to do laps, yes, I would. Alright, we're going to Adventureland, and that's gonna be the Jungle Cruise. That's going A tier. And the reason why I'm putting it A tier and not B tier is depending on what skipper you get and their quirks, their jokes, their puns, they just take it from here to here completely. So it really depends on what skipper you get. I've been very lucky to get good skippers, and it's just been an absolute blast. The nerds, we went down in 2020, and somebody who really doesn't like Disney at all, goes on this ride and could not stop laughing to the point where he was punning the whole day. But let's go to Cali River Rapids. I'm gonna put that in C tier. It's an okay ride. It had a lot of wildlife conservation beforehand. Now it's more like tree preservation. It's okay. It's a nice water ride, rapid ride. Really didn't get wet, but I got a hell of a bruise. And if Susie watches this, Will watches this, even my wife watches this, we hit the gate right before you go down. We hit it hard, and I come off the ride and it's already yellow on the side. It was a completely jerk. Let's go down to Epcot now, into the Land Pavilion, Living with the Land. I'm actually going to put B tier. I don't know why. I might be in the minority here with this, but I really enjoy Living with the Land. Not the beginning portion where you're cutting through the scenes and everything, but when you get out into the greenhouse, I just love looking at all the plants, the fish, basically Disney World uses everything that they cook there. And I've always wanted to do the land tour, the Living with the Land tour. I haven't yet. I know it's not expensive, but I'm there to go, basically through the countries, ride Soarin', ride Living with the Land, test track, and all that stuff, which we'll get to soon. But it's a very, very calm, and, you know, you learn something, I guess. It's fun. And let's go to the Mad Tea Party. Going back to Fantasyland and the Magic Kingdom, I'm going to put that in C tier. Depending on who you ride with, is basically, are you going to have fun with this, or are you just there to just sit back and relax? And when we went down the last time, I think last October, I was very, very fortunate to ride with my niece, and she told me to spin, 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 and spin. I didn't realize I was gonna have to do exercise on this trip, and we just spun it like crazy. She put her head back, and that was the worst thing that she could have did, because she was like, "AJ, stop the car," and that stopped the spin. And I grabbed it, and we just let the ride run out. But it really depends on who you go on there with. It's got a great soundtrack. It's got very nice theming. Let's go to Under the Sea, The Little Mermaid. It's The Little Mermaid. It's basically taking you through the whole story of The Little Mermaid. You're in a clamshell. It's the sea with Nemo and friends. That ride. Which is it on here? I didn't see it. Yeah, it's not on here. But it's basically, oh yeah, it is. We have it. It's basically the same exact thing, but I think Nemo does it better. It does it a lot better, because of the way they put the actual creatures in it, which we'll talk about. Let's go to Hollywood Studios Toy Story Land 4, Toy Story Mania. Going all the way to B tier. This is a lot of fun when it first came out. It's still a lot of fun now. The issue I have with it are the 3D glasses, on how some of them are very, I don't know, warpy, and it distorts your vision to the screen a little bit. It's still very fun. You're popping the I guess balloons, cakes, pies, darts, all of it. It's still very easy to do. It's very fun, and it's something I get very competitive with when we go to Toy Story Land. And that's going to take us to our second ride for S tier. And we are high-hoing all the way to the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And I have a lot of fun with this ride. These cars can swing back and forth, and myself and my wife always, it doesn't matter who we share the actual vehicle, the four-person vehicle with, two, we're rocking that son of a gun bad. And it's so much fun. I'm singing at the top of my lungs, having a blast. And there's an Easter egg at the end of the ride before you enter the station again. Look for it. Trust me. Look for it. Let's go to Mission Space. And since there's only one Mission Space, I've done them both. I'm going to combine the two. You're going to have orange and green. Orange to Mars, a little more intense. Green is a Earth orbit, a little less intense. It doesn't have the G's because of the centrifuge. But I'm going to combine them. I like them both. I can see how it can get people sick. I really see how it can get people sick. I'm going to put it in the C tier. Just for that. Because they're just okay. Basically, I went on it just waiting to go to Space 220. That's basically it. So, let's see what we have. Navi River Journey. Oh, this is a very, this is a good one. Huh. Cool. I'm actually brain farting with this one. Navi River Journey. Wow. It's basically Avatar's It's a Small World. Basically. I'm going to put that down in D tier, and it looks like we are actually It looks like we're missing Flight of Passage. We are missing Flight of Passage down here. So, ladies and gentlemen, Flight of Passage, S tier. I wish I was able to edit this. I cannot. But Flight of Passage is 100% S tier. You fly like a banshee. It's absolutely amazing. It's like scary amazing. You've not just the pre-show, but on the ride. You know, you feel like it's breathing. You're one with the Ikran, and it is so cool. So cool. Go check that out. I can't talk about that enough. But let's go down to the seas with Nemo and friends. That I'm gonna go put to C tier for the same reasons I said earlier. It's cool how they integrate the ride with Nemo and the real fish all at the same time, and plus the Big Blue World song is so nice. It is so nice. So everybody, it's the People Mover. It's the People Mover time. I was really looking forward to this one. And from Haunted Mansion to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train to Avatar's Flight of Passage, which unfortunately is not here. People Mover, S tier. I don't care. It's S tier. That is one ride they actually let you sit on if they're not busy and just do laps and relax. You're in the AC. You're going through Space Mountain, going through the Carousel of Progress, Buzz Lightyear, Monsters Inc., Laugh Floor, Stitch when they had it. So good. So good. I have so much fun with it. I even have the audio soundtrack of the People Mover on a playlist on my phone. Yes. I know I'm crazy. Don't need to tell me. But let's go to the next one. Peter Pan's Flight. I'm gonna go to C tier. It's a ride throughout basically London and Neverland through the movie. The forced perspective is very fun and interesting on how you fly above everything. But there's no reason why this ride should be a hour and a half to 2 hour plus wait time. It's a good ride. It's a good ride. Everybody should do it at least once, but I've come to find out that I can skip this. I can actually skip this ride. One show that I can't skip, especially since the update recently to it, it's Mickey's PhilharMagic. That is gonna go to B tier. Another issue with the glasses, with the warping of the glasses, having that issue. I think it's a hell of a lot better. It's a lot cleaner now since they added Coco to it. The Coco sequence. But give it a shot. You sit down in the AC. It's a 4D-ish kind of experience. You don't move in the seat, but stuff gets sprayed at you. Scents get piped in. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. We going back to S tier, baby. Going back to S tier, and this is actually my favorite ride on property right now that I've ridden, and it is Rise of the Resistance, Haunted Mansion, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Avatar's Flight of Passage, The People Mover, and Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is going to S tier. It's so immersive. The whole Star Wars land in general is very immersive. But this ride, for as long of a wait as it can be, it's worth it. It's 100% worth it, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. Because you get pre-show, to pre-show, to pre-show, to pre-show, to ride, to end show. There's a part of this line where I don't know where it ended. I don't know when the line ended. And it's a lot of fun. Hopefully people get a chance to experience it. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, give it a shot. You got nothing to lose. Rockin' Roller Coaster going to A. Not just because I like Aerosmith a tiny bit, but it's the only loop-de-loop coaster on property, and it launches you 60 miles an hour. Oh, and also depending on what time you go on is what song you get. There's like 3 or 4 different versions of the set list that they give you. It's like 3 or 4 separate versions of 3 or 4 separate songs. So it's a lot of fun. Give it a shot. You get launched right into a loop. I like loops. Let's go to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Going to A tier. This is a lot of fun. I'm not a huge fan of the artwork of the new Mickey, Minnie, and Gang, but this is a very fun ride. It's trackless. It's kind of like Remy. Which, speaking of Remy, let's talk about Remy. Remy, I would honestly put in B tier. It's a carbon copy from the one in Disneyland Paris. And another ride that is not on this list, it's relatively new. 2 rides, actually. 2 rides. So Remy's going to go B. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is definitely going to go S. So unfortunately, there is no Guardians there in this list. But Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is phenomenal. I paid for that ride when we were down there. I felt like it was worth it. Our friends thought it was worth it. And it's another launch coaster. Doesn't go upside down, but it pivots to show you the show scenes. So, yeah, that's going to be another S tier. And Tron, another one that is not on here. I'm going to put in B tier. It's another launch. It's based off of the Tron Light Cycle run out in Shanghai. I think it might be Tokyo Disney. But it's fun. It looks fun, at least. But let's go to Kilimanjaro Safari. This is basically you sit in a propane-powered truck. You have a driver that narrates what you're seeing, and it just takes you around the Animal Kingdom property with the animals. It's very relaxing, very fun. If you have allergies, take an allergy pill or do not go on this ride. If you would want to call it a ride. Yeah, it can get very bad out in the plains. Let's go down to Slinky Dog Dash. Back to Toy Story Land, and I'm going to put that in the A tier. A lot of fun on this ride. Basically everything in Toy Story Land is basically okay to really good. But it's Slinky Dog. He's the car, and this, outside of the Barnstormer, you go from Barnstormer, and I feel like you can go straight to this. It's another stepping stone for people to get more into roller coasters. It's a ride I have a lot of fun with and always make sure I go on. Now, speaking of making sure I always go on, and I know this is going to be very controversial. Very, very controversial. This is my church. It's a small world, and I am so giddy on that ride. It's the whole time, to the point where that is some of the only versions of the languages I know, some words and languages I know, is when it's sung in It's a Small World. I wish I was joking. I really wish I was joking. All right, back to, I think, our final ride or experience in Star Wars Land. I'm gonna go Millennium Falcon, B tier. I would say do it at least once, and if you like it, keep doing it, because it's interactive. You actually fly the Millennium Falcon. You and 5 of your buddies, 5 of your buddies, or they'll just throw people in there to help you out. 2 in the front fly. One goes up and down, the other one goes left and right. You have the gunner, the engineer, and both shooters. So it's fun. I really enjoyed it with my group of friends, and I kind of crashed the Millennium Falcon. Han would not be happy. Han is also dead, if you go by canon through the movies. Alright, we are going to go to Soarin' Over the World. I'm putting that in A tier. 100% A tier. Just for the fact of you go through all these other countries. It sounds like it. It smells like it. It's very relaxing. If you're okay with height, because you're really not that high off the ground, but it makes you feel like you are up there. But your feet are dangling. And again, my favorite part of that ride is when it goes to the North Pole and they're the polar bears, and I scream, "Yo, toss me a Coca-Cola!" Because, you know, Coca-Cola and the polar bears. I know I'm crazy. But back to Tomorrowland. Space Mountain. Paging Mr. Morrow, Mr. Tom Morrow. But Space Mountain, S tier. 100% S tier. Especially if you go through one of the parties and they shut all the lights off. Like, all the lights off. Like, during Halloween, they kill all the lights. There's just the sound effects. You have no clue where in hell you're going. Excuse me. Well, technically, you really don't know where you're going anyway. But you have that beginning part where, you know, you have the lights flickering past you. And then you cut it to where the picture is. And then you go up the chain lift. Yeah, that's all black. That's all. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Even when it's just regular park hours, I can live on this ride. I remember when I was younger, me and my brother Nick, we would get off the ride, go run right back in, off the ride, run right back in, and just keep doing it because, you know, if you go at a good time of the year, you know, you're still always going to hit heavy crowds, but there are lulls. And let's go to this wonderful Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin. I'm going to put it in B tier. Once again, it's kind of like Toy Story Mania, but Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. It's a shooting game. While I do think the one in California is probably better because you can actually pick up the gun and aim, this one, it's mounted and you got a spin dial in the middle to turn your vehicle to wherever you want to shoot, whether that can help you and hurt the person next to you or you're both aiming at the same point. But if the ride stops and you have control of the joystick, keep turning and keep shooting. Your points still go up. Absolutely. Not even joking. Also, shoot Zurg at the end, all the way at the bottom. 100,000 points. Alright, we're going to Epcot now for Spaceship Earth. Yeah, it's gonna go D tier. It's okay. You don't have to do it. It takes you through the globe or the geodesic sphere. Takes you through the whole thing. It's about communication, and it kicks you out into this arcade area, I guess you would call it. It's alright. I usually walk right past it. Maybe midday I go hit it. Maybe. And I'm really not going to talk about this next one. I'm a NASCAR fan, IndyCar, Formula One. That stupid. Because then you get a bunch of kids on here that don't know what a brake is, and you're just getting whiplash completely at the end of it. Now, unfortunately, Splash Mountain is closed. It's closed. We're getting Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but Splash Mountain, it's going to go A tier. Song is always going to be stuck in my head, and, you know, while I can't wait for Tiana, it was really sad to, you know, lose Splash Mountain. And speaking of another A tier, Star Tours. They keep updating Star Tours. They really do. And depending on which one you get on is which, you know, set of 3 movies you're going to see. The last time I was on it, it was the newer trilogy with Kylo Ren and all that wonderful stuff. It's a simulator ride. It does have a little bit of a centrifuge aspect where it kicks you back in your seat and feels like you're actually hitting light speed. But it's fun. It's definitely something I do every single time, and if nobody else wants to go, I still go on it. Test Track. This one is tough, and this one hurts because it was one of my favorite rides until they switched it to the Tron kind of stuff. I still go on it whenever I can. It does have a cool aspect where you get to basically make your own car and put it through its paces through the Chevrolet testing zone. That is cool, and at the end of every section, it tells you how good your car did, how good your, it's cool. I don't like the aesthetic that it has. I still wish it was the test dummy stuff, but with the car building stuff. Just, my opinion. And we're going to jump all the way back up to A for Big Thunder Mountain. So wildest ride in the wilderness. By the way, the chains on this are really, really loud. Really loud. And, every time we go by that goat, I scream at the top of my lungs like you would hear a screaming goat. It's fun. It's a very fun mountain ride. Very fun. Oh, I think this has to go right next to Big Thunder Mountain. It is the Hollywood Tower Hotel Tower of Terror. Yes. Yeah, I'm putting it in A tier because I don't miss it. I love going on the ride. It's a lot of fun, especially when it randomizes the drops you were on. You don't know how many you're going to get. You're going to get one. Well, you're never going to get one. You're going to get 2, 3, 4. I've been on and had 6. Yeah, and when you think it's done, it just shoots you right back up and drops you back down. If you have the feeling of falling, like in your stomach, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I lost it somewhere. I don't get that feeling anymore, and you get pulled down. You don't just fall. It pulls you down. That's why your butt leaves the seat. Yeah, it's so good. And I love the aspect of a haunted hotel. My wonderful wife, who you've seen on the channel many times, has always said, why don't they make a hotel based on the Tower of Terror? And really, I don't know why. I really don't. Because that would probably sell out really fast. Also be very expensive, knowing Disney. And I go on it all the time. Just not going to talk about that. And Winnie the Pooh, we'll put it in D tier. Screw it. We'll go C tier. It takes you through the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh movie. Literally, beat to beat. This is where Toad used to be. And you could actually see when you go through the Owl's house, there's a plaque of Mr. Toad and Owl shaking hands with the deed. That's pretty cool. There's a Great Pepper's ghost. There's a Great Pepper's ghost effect with Winnie the Pooh when he's falling asleep in Heffalumps and Woozle's time. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's see what you guys got. Comment below. I'm really curious. But Haunted Mansion, Seven Dwarfs, Avatar, Flight of Passage, Cosmic Rewind, People Mover, Rise of the Resistance, It's a Small World, and Space Mountain are your S tiers. Peace out, everybody. We're doing hotels next.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.